This is such a weird laptop box. It's so thin. Some might even say it's razor thin. This is such an awkward intro, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Did you see that it has a giant THX logo on the side of the box?
Holy cow, it does have has a giant THX logo. Put the sound. This is such a strange box for a laptop, but I'm still excited to unbox the Razer Blade 16, baby. This one is not quite the top config, but oh my goodness, does it have a lot of power under the hood, and it comes with a very, very expensive price tag to match. This might be the most expensive laptop I've ever held in my life, but I'm gonna game on it. This is a fun box. Okay, Razer, get rid of this. This is kind of cringe and creepy. Welcome to the cult of Razer. Oh, let's take a look here. We'll get this laptop out of the way. In here, there you go, our power brick, which, how many wattage is it? 280 watts. What's the connector on the other end though? It is, oh, you know, for half a second I was like, how did they get 280 watts over USB-C? Well, they didn't, because it's not USB-C. Like, for half a second there, I was fooled. It's clearly some Razer proprietary cable, but it's expected if you want to draw that much wattage, so. And then obviously the C13, which is the other end of it. But I don't care about this stuff. I care about this. It's really heavy. But then when you look at the size of it, you're like, how did they pack that much weight in this thing? Holy cow. When I read the specs of this laptop the first time, I was like, oh, gaming laptop, it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be bulky. I'm kind of impressed. Man, the green logo still is definitely off-putting for a lot of people, but you know what, hey, we'll do that for now. Okay.
Embrace the cult.
No, I'm not gonna embrace the cult. What else is in here? We got some Razer propaganda, and under the rest of the box, that's it. I kind of teased you by saying when I first read the specs, how about we go over them? In here is the Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, the 386H version. You can also get a Ryzen AI 9 365 version, depending on if you want to be an AMD boy or an Intel boy. For us, we got the Intel version as well as a 5090. But if you want to get to the 5090 that is in here, you have to go with the Intel SKU. The AMD SKU only limits you to a 5060. Oh, only a 5060. I need my mobile 5090. That is monstrous. You can get it with up to 64 gigs of RAM as well. In our config, we only got 32 gigs, because let's face it, ain't nobody want to pay more than that because of RAM prices, and we have 2 terabyte of storage. For the rest of the exterior of the laptop, I know I kind of oogled at how thin it was. On the right side of our laptop, we have our Thunderbolt 5 port, full-size SD card reader, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, and an HDMI 2.1 port, as well as your Kensington lock. And the thing with Thunderbolt 5 is you can get 80 gigabit per second. That's really great if you were gonna connect an external GPU, for example. I don't expect you would, because again, this one has the 5090. And on our left side, we have another Thunderbolt port. This one's just Thunderbolt 4. We have another 2 USB 3.2 ports, and oh, that's the power cable there, that proprietary one that I thought was USB-C, and then a combo headphone audio jack there. And on the back, nothing. On the front, nothing. But you know what is all over this device? Holy crap, I've had it in my hand for like 4 seconds. Oh my gosh, that's brutal. My hands are not even that sweaty today, and I know I've said I'm a sweaty boy before in past, you know, short circuits. It should not be that bad. That's pretty brutal. You know what? With how thin this laptop is, I wonder if it'll pass the Apple MacBook test. For those who don't know what it is, one hand open. Woo! That's pretty good. Usually, what can happen on these laptops is you can see as you're pulling up the hinge, the bottom will lift up. The only thing I struggled with was actually getting my finger like in there. It's pretty slick. That's pretty nice, I won't lie. As for our keyboard, holy crap, that's a big trackpad. A big laptop. It's just kind of hitting me, the scale of this laptop, and I think it was when I noticed the size of the trackpad. Ooh, look at that RGB, baby. Backlit keyboard, that is a very bright backlight as well. Holy cow. This screen looks great. Wow. Obviously not the greatest with anti-glare, as you can see, but again, I know I'm in a studio with giant lights at it, but it is very, very nice with this background. I really like this display already. I mean, I haven't seen any content yet. Maybe I'll hold my thoughts. I'll hold my thoughts, okay? It is 2560 by 1600, 240 hertz, which my monitor at home is like 120. I don't know how laptops keep getting like faster and faster hertz, so my monitor at home just trucking along at 120, baby. I don't know if you'll even get the full use of the 240 hertz. I know I mentioned that the GPU in this is a 5090, but one thing that a lot of people don't know about laptops is there's actually different, 5090s and different 5080s. It depends on what the board is drawing in terms of power. For example, in our tests that are coming up, we compared it to an Omen laptop. That 5090 can reach 175 watts, whereas this Razer Blade 16 reaches 165. Now you might be thinking, well, can't I just unlock it to 175 or can't I change them or whatever? Not really with how NVIDIA does their mobile GPUs. So while it is a 5090, it's not the best mobile 5090. And I guess we'll see how that actually plays into some of our results later. But I wanna do some tests of typing, I wanna get into some audio tests, and I also wanna get into this message from our sponsor.
You can't keep a whole laptop or hard drive in your pocket all the time. That's ridiculous. But you can use Ugreen NAS like the DXP 4800 Pro. It's basically like having your own personal cloud, so you can access all of your photos, videos, and documents on the go, safely and cheaper than paying for cloud storage too. It supports up to 144 terabytes of storage, which is approximately 50 million photos of my cat, which is the perfect number of cat photos. Grab your Ugreen DXP 4800 Pro using our link below.
Like I said earlier, this thing's heavy. I want to do a quick bend test. If I break this before we actually get into gaming, but...
That's why they call them short circuits.
That's for short circuit. Whoa! Whoa! Ooh. You know what? For being how thin it is, I think it is understandable that it bends that much. It still makes me uncomfortable. The actual chassis itself, though, like the rest of it, I can hear it creaking, but it is... Try to get it lined up here and I'll try to twist it. It's pretty good. I'm giving it pretty good beans there, and it's got some good rigidity. I wonder how that translates into typing though. Oh, I love this keyboard. Whoa. This might be one of the best laptop keyboards I've typed on. It is a membrane, I'm reading my notes here on it, sorry. 1.5 millimeters of travel, membrane keyboard. Got a little bit of deck flex, you can definitely see, but I'm also like all 8 fingers giving her pretty good. If I'm just typing, you can't really see any. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the meme of Razer and how like hardcores hate Razer. You kind of go into these videos kind of skeptical. I think this might be my favorite keyboard I've ever typed on a laptop. I'm very impressed, Razer. I do want to play with the trackpad a bit more. Trackpad, not the smoothest to glide over. The click is very satisfying. I can tell when I'm clicking though. It's definitely a bottom left and bottom right click on this. Are my gestures gonna work? Yeah, it seems like my gestures are gonna work. So if I wanna go multi-desktop or anything, I like how big of a trackpad it is. As long as palm rejection does a pretty good job, which I'm seeing some movement in my cursor when I just am kind of like moving my hand along the keyboard here. I've seen better palm rejection. I will say, you notice that when I'm typing? Look at the screen. It's subtle, but it's wobbling. That could be just because of the table. I'm not gonna give full blame to Razer on that. I do wanna listen to some audio, and I do wanna watch some video on this thing though. This screen looks really nice. The laptop has 6 speakers total, 4 up firing and 2 down firing. And hey, that THX, this better sound freaking amazing. I've got a little board underneath here, so it's not directly firing into our desk pad from lttstore.com. All right, you know me, I like to do 100% volume first. Here we go. It's not as loud as I thought it was gonna be. It's not as loud as I expected it to be at 100%. But what I will say is it sounds really good. The only thing I noticed a little bit weird was the snare just before the drop, but that was probably a personal preference for me, that the Lenovo, for example, had way worse on the snare. The MacBook had way worse on the bass, right? This has a very nice balance across the entire mix. I'm gonna turn it down to 50% though, and we'll see kind of what that sounds like. Did that turn down? That sounds almost the exact same volume. I'm at 50% now, 100%. I almost feel like my volume is on a curve. I don't think my volume is linear on this.
It's almost like it's a curve like that.
Yeah, sorry, curve the other way. Yes, not this way. Yeah. Because the 50% did not sound half as loud as the 100%. So keep that in mind, I guess. It still sounds very good. These speakers sound awesome on a laptop. Especially again, man, for something this freaking thin, dude. Holy cow. The fan grills, 1 and 2 here, I kind of just picked it up with one hand, and one of my hands happened to land on the fan grill, and all of the weight went through this mesh, and I could actually rub the fan. Now it's not going, but I don't know if the fan's not spinning because I broke it or if it's just not hot enough.
We'll see when we game.
We'll see when we game or open it up later. That is not good. Yeah, that I didn't like. I don't think I've ever encountered that on a laptop before. Alrighty. I've got my Cyberpunk here. It's time to play. I had a stroke. So we're on 1600 resolution here. We're on ultra settings, and we got no ray tracing, no upscaling or anything like that. And I've got 100 FPS average as I'm just driving through the back desert here. With my 1% lows being almost 100, it dipped to 90 there, but that's rock solid. That means I'm not gonna notice any weird hitching, right? Sometimes having a high average FPS isn't the best if your 1% lows dip to 30, 60, or whatever it may be. That's when you notice like the, oh my gosh, a stutter. Having it very tight between your average and your 1% lows is, that's nice. What's not nice? Do you hear those fans? Can you hear them on the mic? Holy crap. Woo! That's the THX. That's where they get it from, okay. This is hot to the touch. Like, I could not comfortably hold my finger on this spot right here for more than 5 seconds. Like, I would feel very uncomfortable. Actually, this whole top bar, I would not feel comfortable. I mean, that makes sense. That's where the exhaust is. That's where everything's coming out, but like, I'm kind of surprised that passed certification. It's pretty hot. For those who don't know, when manufacturers are making devices, there are certain things that they have to pass in terms of, you know, EMF radiation or like whatever, and then there's also temperature. So the surface of these devices cannot actually exceed a certain temperature, because if you were to hold it or put it on your lap, being a laptop, it could actually burn you. And I'd be very shocked if somehow this passed certification. It's like uncomfortable to touch. Too hot, Razer, genuinely. And now that the fans are spinning, I'm gonna see if I can recreate this again. If I pick it up with one hand, you ready? Yeah, do you hear that? I can touch the fan on both sides. Not great. For how rigid everything else felt, I'm surprised that that's an oversight, because I often pick up my laptop with one hand. I hope I'm not the only one. All right, let me power this thing down. Let's open it up, and let's talk about some of the performance results. Non-captive screws, that's fine, whatever. At least the screws are relatively easy to access. As for the performance of this laptop, we compared it to a very similarly spec'd HP Omen laptop, with the difference being that 5090 on the HP Omen draws 175 watts, and as you can see, it basically results in the HP Omen being just slightly better. The only difference was in 1200p, the Razer laptop outperformed in Cyberpunk. That makes sense because at that lower resolution, you're probably more CPU bottlenecked than you would be GPU bottlenecked, but even though it's drawing less wattage, it's well within what we would expect the performance of a mobile 5090 to be. I will say the biggest difference between the HP Omen and the Razer was that there was a bigger difference between your average and your 1% lows, kind of like I pointed out when I was actually gaming in Cyberpunk there. But All my screws are out, I think. Yeah, the fan blade is broke. Wait, is this just a slide off? Wow, that was really easy. I will give Razer credit. There's no clips holding it in. That was actually just a simple pop off after I got all my screws out. Very nice, Razer. I like to see it. Because that'll make upgrading things like your storage easier, or your Wi-Fi card easier, or adding a secondary drive. You could fit up to 8 terabytes total in this if you put 2 4-terabyte drives in. Other than that, it's kind of empty. The whole vapor chamber is under here. Even this is still warm after it's been off for a couple minutes now. And our battery here, where's our size? 90 watt hour battery. That is a chonker. Wait, normal, sorry, I see typical capacity and normal energy. What's the difference?
Yeah, so it's funny because when I did the battery report as well, the Power CFG battery report, it also reports 85 watt hours. So.
But Razer's website says 90.
Look, it might have gotten less performance in our games, but holy cow, even though there was only a 2 watt hour difference between this and that HP Omen, this battery lasted more than 6 hours longer. It got almost 10.5 hours compared to 4.5 on the HP Omen. Man, Panther Lake is awesome, isn't it? As for getting fully charged, our Razer Blade took just over 100 minutes to get fully charged. HP Omen took about 120. And Razer claims on their website that you can go from 0 to 80% in about 45 minutes. We were not able to test that claim, but hey, quick charge times, always appreciated. And long battery life, also always appreciated. I kind of glossed over it though, but you could swap out your Wi-Fi card. Probably won't need to. It's Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6. I think this is one of the first laptops I've opened that had Bluetooth 6. Most of them are on 5.4 or 5.2. And other than that, that's the Razer Blade laptop. But how much does it cost? Ooh, this is where it's probably going to be a turn off the video for a lot of you. It's $4,500 US. Man, this is where I get conflicted, right? Because obviously that is an insane amount of money and I should be angry. It's a lot of money. You're getting a lot of laptop for that money. You're getting a 5090. You're getting incredible battery life because you got the Panther Lake. I mean, a lot of that price could come from just crazy DRAM prices right now. You know, SSDs are expensive. RAM is really expensive, which you'll notice now that I'm in it, RAM is not upgradable. And that's because in order to hit the insane speed of 9,600 megatransfers per second, it needs to be soldered. And this is where I get torn again. We're now getting incredible RAM speeds, like 9,600 megatransfers per second is unbelievable, but we're compromising upgradability or repairability in order to hit those speeds. This isn't the first time we've seen it, right? I don't know, I'd be curious to know what you guys would prefer. Do you guys like the crazy high speeds and performance of it, or do you think it's worth the lower speed in order to be able to swap it out? I guess for you, it's gonna depend on what you want out of the Razer Blade 16. I think the top spec is $5,000 US right now, and the entry point is around the $2,000 mark. $2,000 is still a lot of money for a laptop, by the way. You can get a MacBook at that price, and depending on what you're doing it for, that could probably be better for you. But I'd be curious to know what you guys think, and honestly, what do you guys think about how thin this is? It's nice that we're getting Windows laptops this thin. If you guys are interested in super thin laptop designs like this, go check out Adam's video on the ZenBook 16. It's kind of similar in terms of its thinness and, well, I didn't watch the video yet, so I can't actually tell you how the video went, so.
A16.
What the fuck did I say?
You just
16.
said 16.